sang-awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang mag-ibig, pero sa sinakalan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng mag-ibig, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa dagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mo pagaw, ay ginatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iibig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang ay di magtitinig. Luma ng araw ng walang pagsinta, mo'y langit sa piling mo. Ang hindi kaya na pagkay mga aking, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Hello, hello, hello everyone. Welcome to AMBAG NATIN, a webinar series on the importance of voters' education and participation among the youth. We especially created this for you, Millennial and Gen Z peeps, para masagutan ang katanungan na ano bang ambag mo? So, grab your pen and notebook or kung ano pang pwedeng i-grab dyan like sweater, kumot, or unan. Para cozy lang tayo, you know. Anyway, just sit back or kung paanong position man kayo comfy. Chill with us and enjoy the webinar. I'm your Alamid host for today, Kyla. Bago ang lahat, disclaimer muna, the views and opinions expressed by the host do not necessarily state or reflect those of the organization and its management. Furthermore, the views and opinions of the guests do not reflect the host, the webinar, the management, and the organization. Hindi na natin ito patatagalin pa bago pa ako mawala ng hininga. Today, we have an amazing guest. Graduate siya ng Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English at Trinity University of Asia at summa cum laude. Currently a sophomore at the UP College of Law, was an associate editor at Rex Bookstore at ngayon siya ay isang freelance writer. Excited na akong kilalanin siya. Let's all welcome Mr. Dan Galman. Hi, Kuya Dan!
Oh, hello. Thank you for that really energetic welcome.
Ayan. Thank you very much, Kuya Dan, for being our guest for today's talk. We are honored to be here with you today. So, first question po, Kuya Dan. Agad-agad. First question po, what is the square root of 7?
I media comm ka, English major. We're not here to talk about math.
So, ayun po. Wait lang. Hindi na po tayo magbibiro. Kamusta naman po kayo, Sir Dan? Ay, Kuya Dan. Sir Dan.
Yeah, kuya na. Actually, just my first name would do. Ako,
Sige po.
magka-age lang tayo. Ako, I'm doing good. Kayo, media comm.
Okay naman po tayo. Buti naman po at okay kayo, doing good kayo. Ganyan. So, proceed na po tayo sa first question talaga natin. Are you ready po, Kuya? Are you ready, Dan?
I'm just excited to talk about whatever we can
Yes.
talk about.
Sige po. Let's start na ha. Kasi po, alam naman natin ngayon na under tayo ng lockdown, ganyan. Tapos nasa crisis pa tayo ng pandemic, ganyan. Tapos sa mga ganitong klaseng panahon, ang daming challenges. Tapos nagkakaroon pa ng mga, nakikita pa natin yung mga issues sa government natin. So, how did it feel to be a law student and a writer at this period for you?
To be honest, being a writer during this day and age na pandemic, I would say na it affected me in a way na parang I didn't know how to respond kasi I was writing about products, I was writing about what else ba? Products, events, and parang I just felt like I was escaping reality kasi sobrang serious ng pandemic, we lost a lot of our loved ones and friends. So it was really hard to focus on writing about how to sell a product while being in a pandemic. So for me, it was tough. And when it comes to being a law student naman, of course, it's also tough kasi you have to study the law, you have to study cases. At the same time, you're going through a pandemic. I'm not sure with you, pero, you know, I've had relatives who had it and we had to like take care of them. So it's really hard, not just as a law student, pero I'm sure as a student in general to, mag-focus on school. Tapos the world is going into chaos and ramdam na ramdam natin sa Facebook yung mga posts about what's going on
Yes,
during this pandemic.
tama po kayo dyan. Alam mo, kahit nga po tanungin lang po kita kung as a person, kamusta ka, may expect mo talaga sa kahit na sino man na mahirap talaga. Kasi wala naman nag-expect nito, gano'n. So, yun.
Rich or poor, lahat.
Yes, walang
I'm sure
pinipili.
affected.
Tama ka dyan, Dan.
I
So,
hope your family is safe.
yeah, you
Right.
too po. Thank you po. At sa mga nanonood din sa atin,
Of course.
we wish them good health po. And yes. So, yun, studying Philippine law, ano pong masasabi niyo about our government, politics, and freedom of expression ngayon? Sa panahon ngayon.
Oh, that's a very big question. No? Kasi we can talk for hours about this. Pero
Yes.
it's enlightening to be honest. Kasi as even before pa naman, I've been really inclined with the political climate. Kahit high school pa lang ako, syempre teachers natin would ask us to write about essays, yung pork barrel na yan. Wait, how old are you ulit? Time
18
natin.
po. 22 po.
Yes, I'm 20, just turned 23. So, medyo we were in the same level nung LM niyan. Pork barrel, scam, and whatnot, yung sa 44. And, it really opened my eyes na about the political climate natin dito. And studying the law, I can see more how it has good and, it of course, it's the purpose of the law is to be, ano ba, to make our society better, to make our society ideal. But at the same time, you can also see how people, abuse it, misuse it. So studying Philippine law, I would say very enlightening lang siya. And it really makes me parang be more critical and be more aware of what I say, what I do, especially now that I know na the law, it can be used for both good and bad. And syempre as citizens, as pinalaki ng nanay natin na maayos, I hope we be critical tsaka we use it always in in a good way.
Tama po. Actually, napanood niyo po ba yung ano yun? Nakalimutan ko na po. Basta ano siya. Basta K-drama po siya. Law school ata yun. Parang pinapakita po kasi doon na, yun nga, depende siya sa tao kung paano mo gagamitin yung nalalaman mo. So, yun, maganda talaga pag marami kang alam, pero depende siya sa tao kung paano mo gagamitin yung knowledge mo.
Totoo. Dapat maging
Diba?
responsible talaga. And like what you
Yes.
said sa question about freedom of expression. Lahat tayo, di ba, meron free or right na mag-express na kung anong gusto natin. Pero at the same time, we should be cautious pa rin kasi pwedeng right mo yan, freedom mo yan. Pero is it morally right na sasabihin mo yun sa isang tao? Appropriate ba yan? So it's
Tama po.
yeah. Sabi nga nila with great power, di ba? Comes with great responsibility. So it's cliche,
Yes.
pero laging totoo siya talaga.
Totoo
Not
nga
just
po.
as a law student, even you, future media practitioner, di ba?
Yes. Tama po kayo dyan. Nako, nandiyan na naman si Spider-Man. Kasi, ayun nga, sinasabi nila, no, cliche yung mga bagay-bagay. Pero kasi kaya nga siya cliche, kasi totoo siya. So, hindi natin pwedeng kalimutan yan si Spider-Man. Hello, Spider-Man. So, next question po, sa Filipino youth and a future lawyer. what part of your field becomes challenging knowing that you'll be serving the country? Oh, ano daw pong challenging sa inyo?
Grabe. Kala ko may warm-up questions tayo, pero very into it na talaga. So, as a millennial and as a future lawyer, it's challenging. Like, we touched upon this already na, ano ba? Let's get political na since, di ba, that's our topic naman eh. Um, Growing up, we've always heard issues about corruption, about mga malpractice and pag misappropriate ng funds natin, mga extrajudicial killings and other human rights violations. Growing up, we've always encountered that, 'di ba? And I think as a Gen Z, yung problem na yan, it will be ongoing. Parang hindi mawawala yan. And ang sad sabihin, pero I don't think magiging tayo. I don't think our society will ever become that ideal society na walang 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 bad or like dystopian, di ba? Dystopian, very perfect. I don't think it will ever come to that. So I think the ongoing challenge as Gen Zs, it's how to combat it. You can always, it will always prevail, pero as Gen Zs, I think mas aware tayo or I think mas vocal tayo, especially with the digital age, information um, age. I think hindi man natin mapugsa or ma-eliminate. I think Gen Zs right now are more proactive, tsaka they're more vocal. So, hindi man natin ma-eliminate completely. I hope, we still make change, positive change kahit papaano. So, that's our challenge. How to shape the future na di man mawala, at least we're still doing positive change aside. And I think bright ang future natin, Gen Zs.
Yes, hello po, Gen Z. So, sinabi niyo po na nagiging normal na yung corruption, EJK, parang nagiging tanggap na siya, which is personally po, I agree with you po. Kasi parang yung may nakikita akong mga argument na okay lang, at least may nagawa siya, 'di ba? Okay lang mangurap, at least may ganito. Parang bare minimum po, gano'n. Tapos parang corruption, gano'n. At sinabi niyo rin na okay lang kahit ay, sinabi niyo rin na inamin niyo rin na mahirap na i-achieve yung perfect. Pero ang maganda is alam natin kung paano i-combat. Kung tatanungin po kita ngayon, um, kapag kapag may nagtanong sa'yo pala ngayon, paano niyo po i-combat yung ganong klaseng practices, ay yung nakasanayan natin, ganyan?
That's another big question. Pero, alam mo, just because it's a big question, I think the proper answer is to start small. Kasi isang tao lang naman tayo. I think it's very important to start small and do your research. Actually, I feel like yung mga sinasabi natin na to, it's very cliche. But at the same time, medyo na-overlook na siya. Like what you said, meron ka nakikitang posts na okay lang kurakot basta may nagawa naman. 'Di ba? Pero when you see that on Facebook or kung saan man, I think you should also research na totoo ba yung sinasabi nito? Is it true ba na may nagawa siya? Or mamaya yung mga nagawa niya hindi na compensate ng mga kasamaan na ginawa niya. So, that's one, research. Another thing is, ano ba? To choose your battles. Since yun nga, Gen Zs, I can see the flame in Gen Zs on how they're very passionate about change, sticking to what is right. Pero at the same time, we can't fight all battles all at once. Di ba yung mga superhero, hindi nila kaya kalabanin agad yung pinakamasama. They have to start small and they have to start somewhere na they can. So I think they should choose their battles and they should also, start kung saan sila. Like, for example, with their friends, with their family. And I think that's how the combating starts. from small. Tapos, of course, as you go out to the real world, you're graduating students, you're gonna be able to find a job and maybe get promoted. And there, you're gonna have a wider reach eventually. And I hope by that time, yung morals natin and yung mga ideals natin about the country and what's good, nandito pa rin para mas malawak na yung reach na maaabot natin.
Ayun, meron po akong na point para hindi kayo mahirapang balikan. According to Kuya Dan or kay Dan, para ma-combat natin is to start small. Start small, research at i-choose natin yung battle natin. Basta ang importante, alam natin yung intention natin, alam natin yung purpose natin kung ba't natin ginagawa yun. Kahit mahirap, abot natin yan. Magagawa natin yan someday. Start small lang. Step by step. Ganun. Tama po ba, Dan?
Tama. And also a
Yeah.
warning and a reminder. You know, once you're out there in the real world, it's gonna be extra hard to choose what is right. Kasi it's always a matter of it's gonna be a matter of convenience or sticking to what is right. And I'm sure my experience niya yan after you graduate na maraming temptations dyan to do what is more convenient. Pero it's not gonna be that moralistic or it's not gonna be that good. So at the end of the day, once you go out there sa real world, you know, it's easier said than done. And I hope at the end of the day, we always choose pa rin what is upright.
Tama. Thank you so much po dun sa ano na yun, yung mark na yun. So let's move forward. Do you think kaya pa po ba? Or gusto niyo po bang mag-question tayo ng mga what's your favorite color?
I'm enjoying this conversation and I hope kayo din.
Yes po. Marami agad ako natutunan. Ilang questions pa lang yun. May mga notes na ako dito. Kaya, yan. Let's proceed po. Do you think it's important for the youth to be politically inclined?
Definitely. Are you politically inclined? Would you say?
Hindi po ako vocal, pero alam ko yung tama sa mali. Confident po ako dun.
That's great. And I think that's important, not just sa youth, pero sa lahat. Kasi when you're politically inclined, and I hope it's inclination also in what is right. And how will you know if it's right? Yun nga, like what I said, research. You know, I think common sense medyo hindi na siya nagiging common these days. Especially with what we see sa Facebook, sa internet. Like, if I may ask you a question, na when you see fake news na mukhang totoo, like for example, yung may logo ng Manila Bulletin or logo ng anything legitimate na news source, what's your first impression when you see na?
Ang impression ko, pag may Manila Bulletin, may mga, yung reliable sources, parang, agad parang, ay, totoo ba to? Parang
Diba?
mapapaganon ako. Parang
So,
60% naniniwala na ako agad. Parang ganun.
exactly, diba? I'm sure you also study that in your media communication subjects na it's very very easy na these days to spread misinformation kasi nga you can always hide behind the face of looking legitimate. And you know, when you're politically inclined, it doesn't mean na you should stop at that. You should also be very, yun nga, like what we said, research. Kasi sa sobrang dali na ngayon, even ako, aminado ako, like when I see something, kasi that's a human inclination, di ba? Yung, when you see something sensational or controversial, that's the first instinct is, oh, talaga. And sadly, people stop at that. They don't bother to fact check, check the link if it's reliable, if it's a legitimate news information. So while it is for me important na politically inclined tayo, it should come hand in hand with being critical and hindi lang basta magpaniwala. 'Di ba yung iba, sometimes they just believe what they see on TikTok. ano pa ba? So, and even ngayon na meron ng um, people are campaigning na you see people edit videos, they cut them to make it appear na ito yung sinasabi ng isang candidate para mapasama sila. So, to be politically inclined, it also comes with being critical tsaka informed kung saan yung political inclination mo. Hindi lang basta na, political inclination ko, si ganito. Bakit? Kasi ang tagal niya na nakaupo eh. Marami na sigurong nagawa. Walang sense pagiging politically inclined mo if ka na. So, that goes hand in hand na. And like what you said, even if hindi ka ganun ka vocal, what's important is marunong ka bumusisi or mag-usisa. And alam mo sa sarili mo na you're checking the right sources, the right information. And if you're not sure, you double check it. So, yeah, it's important to be politically inclined, but also very informed and knowledgeable. Kasi ako personally, I didn't start being vocal up until I'd say before I graduated college. Kasi I wasn't confident pa na I could argue myself with people I'm gonna be talking with. And that's okay, as long as you're continuously looking or searching for your, ano ba, political inclination, or what's the right word? As long as you're continuously searching kung ano yung sa tingin mong tama for our country, that's okay, even if you don't be vocal. And if, you can start small again with your friends muna. You can exchange you can have constructive discussions, hindi yung keyboard warrior agad. And I think that's healthy kasi it will help you shape your ideologies and beliefs. So it's important at the same time, be informed tayo.
Tama. Importante po na alam natin, no? Based po sa sinabi nyo, na realize ko na importante na kahit sure pa tayo kahit sure man tayo or hindi, importante na tanungin natin why. Bakit ko ba ito sinusuportahan? Kasi ganito siya. Does it matter? Ganon na, ito ba dapat yung qualification? Bakit ko siya dapat suportahan or hindi suportahan siya yung iboto ko? Ganon.
Usually, ganun tayo na-incline na artista kasi siya before, 'di ba? Tapos taga dito kasi siya, tas galing siya sa pamilya ng ganyan, tas yung matunog na. So, tama yung sinabi mo na we should ask why. Relevant ba to sa position na tinatakbuhan niya? Kung magaling siya sumayaw, kung magaling siya kumanta. So, I agree with that point na dapat we also should ask why, kung relevant ba to sa position. Or mamaya, hindi naman pala relevant. Pero yun yung reason kung bakit natin siya inuha.
Another question. So, sabi po dito, many young people are increasingly participating in political discussions on social media. Some of these discussions are good while others become combative. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. We've already touched upon this.
Actually.
So, the main thing when you're gonna the main thing na you have to take note of or to be aware of when you're gonna express your opinion is are you sure ba na you can really defend yourself at the same time? Sure ka ba na tama yung facts mo, na tama ba yung information na meron ka? Personally, when young people use social media to express their opinions and views sa and not just politics, pero with everything, I find it commendable kasi at least they're shaping their own values. May value formation na nangyayari. Pero at the same time, 'di ba? Kaya nga may teachers tayo, may parents tayo, may kuyas and ates tayo. And kailangan pa rin ng youth ng a certain level of guidance from those people na like your mom, your dad, or your teachers. Kasi, like what I said, with great power comes with great responsibility. So, kapag bata ka pa, let's say I see people as young as elementary level being very vocal about their opinions. Pero at the same time, diba, when you have that amount of power or that power to express yourself, um na ganyan ka pa kabata, it can also be dangerous. Kasi our coming from an educational perspective, our brains are not yet developed pa talaga fully. So, very prone tayo to um, deception, very prone tayo na maloko, kahit nga malaki na tayo, di ba? Very nalaloko pa rin tayo ng mga maling tao, ganyan. So, I think it's good na yung youth they're expressing their opinions, pero I hope merong nag-guide sa kanila kasi kapag ipinabayaan mo lang sila dyan sa social media na yan, delikado delikado talaga. So especially in political debates, I think it's important, but at the same time, yun nga, katulad ng sinasabi natin sa youth, mag-research kayo, hindi porket nakita nyo lang yung headline, talaga, ito yun na yung pang-argue nyo agad. What if headline lang, di ba? Sa media ko, yung headlines nyo, you have to be as controversial or sensational as possible to attract readers. So when you only read that headline sa Facebook, di mo nga alam kung reliable pa yung nakita mo. So mabuti talaga it's really important to really fact check, read, or if di man read, watch credible news sources, hindi yung mga pinoyakoblog.com na gumagamit ng kung anong background music sa YouTube, 'di ba? Na robot lang yung boses na na nag-auto speech. So, mahalaga maging expressive tayo, but at the same time it's always a balance of whether you know your sources to be credible or not.
Yes, major takeaway ko po dyan, Kuya Dan, is that sometimes it's okay to say, hindi ko pa alam eh, wait lang, I'll search. Gaya ng ginawa
Exactly.
mo nga kay Kuya Barbero. Yan. So, last question na po tayo, Kuya Dan. Sayang naman. So, ayun, last question. Para lang po may ano tayo, no? Meron po tayong answer for this. Ano nga ba para sa'yo ang ambag natin sa lipunan, Sir Dan?
Ambag natin. Sorry, ambag ko or natin?
Natin as a youth po.
As a youth, this digital age, this new millennium or millennia, this new millennium, we hold so much power na talaga. And power, hindi superpower. Pero it's the power to connect to people we haven't connected for a long time or connect to people we don't know. Sobrang, yun nga, information age na tayo. It, sobrang dami nating information na nakukuha. At the same time, sobrang dami rin natin information na pwedeng ilabas. So, ang ambag natin dito is definitely kung ang pinapasok ba natin na information sa atin at yung nilalabas ba natin, relevant ba to? Makakabuti ba to sa tao? Makakasakit ba to? Mali ba to? Tama ba to? Basically, critical thinking. In other words, ano bang Tagalog na critical thinking? Mabusisi, mapanuri, lahat ng yon. Sobrang nakakatamad, aminin natin na mag-fact check, mag-research, nakakatamad i-verify kung ano yung sources. Kasi nga sa sobrang dami ng information na pumapasok sa atin, we're very prone na paniwalaan na lang kung ano yung makita natin. And ang ambag natin talaga dito is paano natin makakombat yon. As youth, sobrang laki ng responsibility natin, hindi lang sa matatanda, pero sa next generation to really ascertain na we're on the right side of history. Kasi ang daming nangyayari sa mundo ngayon. And masasabi lang natin na malaki yung ambag natin kapag pagtanda siguro natin masasabi mo sa mga apo mo na hindi ako nagpadala dito. Hindi ako nagpadala sa masasamang tao na yan o kaya kani-kanino man. So, basically just be very mapanuri. Yun talaga.
Yun yung pinakaambag natin sa lipunan, na maging critical thinker at maging mapanuri, mapagmatsyag,
Tama.
matanglaw. Thank you
Kuya
so
Ke.
much for sharing your insights, Kuya. Ang dami kong
Thank
natutunan
you din.
sa'yo. Ang dami
Hopefully,
kong
meron.
na-realize. Oo, meron talaga. Marami talaga. Marami akong notes dito. Ayun. At sana
Fact check mo
marami
din,
ding natutunan. Ay, oo naman. Yung sa trillions, yan, pa-fact check natin yan. Yung mga, basta yan, magpa-fact check tayo, Kuya Dan. Kasi yun yung pinaka natutunan, yun yung pinaka gist ng ating webinar ngayon. So, thank you so much po. Sana din maraming natutunan ng mga nanonood sa atin. So, to recognize our guest exemplary efforts in sharing his insights and knowledge about voters literacy, we would like to award a certificate of recognition to Kuya Dan, to Mr. Dan O. Galman, given this day, December 11, 2020.
Thank you
Magpa-flash po
so
yung certificate dyan sa screen. Hindi ko alam kung saan. So
Registered
again,
voters ba kayo?
ay opo.
Yes. So,
Yes, registered na
you
tayo.
know, you're now equipped to know and to, to really criticize kung sino yung rightful candidate for us.
Yes. Ask your questions. Kahit gaano pa kasigurado. Research. Start small. Tama. Thank you, Kuya.
Thank you then.
Thank you po. At salamat din sa inyo, our dear viewers, for sticking with us. We hope na may bagong learnings kayo from this webinar at alam nyo na kung ano ba ang ambag natin. Always remember, be an advocate for credible election and reliable information. Pagtulungan nating solusyonan ang misinformation or disinformation na nangyayari sa ating lipunan. Till our next episode, I'm your Alamid host, Kyla, and that's a wrap.